Mpachi, Pachi, Igwe, Evelyn obituary. And it is, as we all know, death is not something that we all look forward to, but we know that it will happen. And one thing about Pachi, I reflect on the things that I learned when he would come here and how he would interact with his own wife. And I use those things now, but I believe.
As Wayne has said, we're here to celebrate the life of our father, Igwe Honorable Edmund Obikwere, the father of our dear friend, lifelong friend, Ngozi. The next step on the agenda is message one, the first message, and that is on life.
Dwayne, I wish you would have done that 3 times. Because I really wanted to hear it. That's wonderful. I have the honor of taking our Father and the source of all mercy and comfort. For he gives us comfort in our trials so that we in turn, that's the piece, so that we in turn may be able to give the same sort of strong sympathy to others in theirs. Of his encouragement. This means that if we experience trouble, loss, pain, we can pass on to you comfort and spirit of troubles that we have ourselves endured. We are quite confident that if you have to suffer troubles as we have done, then in seasons. As a pastor, and separation were never to be part of the plan. The Honorable Edmund Obikwere, how did I do? This is not only an American tongue, this is a Spanish tongue. The Lord breathed into him purpose. In his mother's womb, he was created on purpose. There'll be a day when God calls us forth, and that tune where I stood yesterday, my son, there will be a trumpet sound. And the dead in Christ first will rise. And they'll take on a beautiful new heavenly body. I was given a card when I was going through my who we're tethered with and cross-tied with will help us to stay firm and strong in the storms of life. I love you.
We know that you are a good God. You provide for us in every situation. Good situations, the not so good situations.
Himself as if this was true. And he began to study. He researched in the Greek, in the Jewish Bible. You know, if you go to our house, every type of Bible, you know, from Igbo to Jewish to Greek and all that. And he read and he read and he read. And my father got to a point where he had almost memorized the whole Bible. There is no verse or chapter you will say he will not explain to you. He will tell you it's John Mark, as though he and John Mark are buddies. He will tell you their last name. So that's the way he referred to biblical figures. He was very comfortable with them, and then he became convicted. And that's how his journey started. He began to have this total transformation through the power of the Holy Spirit. And he began to become very familiar with the world. And that was when he started to encourage us to seek the Lord. As his pilgrimage on this earth became mature, he started to exhibit the gifts of prophecy. In my life, he prophesied to me that we were going to have 4 children. And you know, in America, 4 children, that's a lot of children. You know, many of my friends will say to me, they'll say ngozi, when I was in my former job, they'll say, she has 6, I only have 4. Someone will say, oh, Mrs. Bell, she has like 8 children. Once you pass 2, people start multiplying it, like you have 10. So I had no intention. We had 2 girls, we were very happy, our family was quite nice. And my father came and told him that the Lord showed him we were going to have 4 children. I said, no, we're not interested. We're not looking for boys. We're very, very happy. And I honestly, no desire, nothing. But somehow, miraculously, we... Miraculously, all I know was a miracle. We ended up with 2 boys with a huge gap between them. So that's when I started to fear his testimony a little bit. All of you are thinking all kinds of things. I know it's not involved. And at that time he became a man of deep moral convictions, right? When I was in distress, and the reason why I talked about my father's whole life is that my father indulged in a lot of things. He drank, he smoked, he enjoyed those things. But the day he changed. And it really reminded me of, sometimes we're in here, we're in and out. But he really had a transformation, a change in his life. And I just pray that that's the same for us, that when we say we're something, we're that thing. So before he died, my father told us at the beginning of the year that the Lord had told him he was going to pass in August. Very, very particular, very specific. He kept saying it, and I didn't rebuke him. I would just say, all this death, I'm tired, and I had, my friends know this, I had almost a near breakdown when my mother passed. I felt guilty, I felt unhappy, I felt ashamed. Like other people kept their parents, and I didn't keep my parent, all that kind of thing. I really hated the idea of death of my mother. And so when my father passed away, so when he started talking of death, I was really kind of like, I'm not doing that, please. I'm not doing any death. But he told me, and he was just not afraid of it. He said, it's part of the passage of life. You come and you have it's a pilgrim and you go. So he kept saying it and kept saying it. And he told us that the Lord told him to put his house in order. He said that God had given him this many years and that he should put his house in order. In fact, he had told his bishop when the first time, and said the Lord had extended his life and that August was the time. So I told him, I said, Mpachi, we call my father Mpachi. That's a whole other story about how we ended up with Machi and Mpachi. Because my name is not Chi, it's my older sister's name. But I told my father, I said to him, I said, I'm coming in December to see. He said to me, because he said, you can come, but unless God changes his mind, I will not be there. So, and then we started talking. We had developed, my dad and I we used to have this relationship where we would fight because I have a very strong personality. And my father is an apologetic, he knows the word. He loves to argue the word. He loves to say the word. He loves politics, he likes knowledge, all that kind of stuff. So, I try to act like myself, I know something. So we'll now enter this argument, we should argue. But for some reason, the last year, we became really, I kind of almost changed and I became a daughter. I just listened. I would be on the phone with him sometimes for hours, and he would tell jokes, he would laugh at his own jokes, I would just stay on the phone, he would talk and tell me all kinds of things. And so when we were going through this period, I started to appreciate him more, and I started to sort of understand the things I didn't understand about him. And I started to, I really did not want him to die, because I had begun to know him in a different way. So when he said all that, so in July, I ended up going to, some of us, we went to the UK for most of July. But before I was going, my cousin called me and said, your father is always talking to you. Why don't you come and see him? He has told everybody that he's going to die, and all that. Come and see him. So I called my brother, and my brother said, that man is going to live to 100 years. Just go and enjoy your vacation. Don't go anywhere. He's as strong as he was. So he's not going to. So because I wanted to hear that, I didn't want to change my vacation. I went to the UK and I came back on the 31st. And, when I came back on the 31st, first week in August, I said to the Lord, I said, well, he's here. And it was so foolish. August was not over. Because he told me categorically, I still have voicemails. He said he will finish his birthday month. I shouldn't worry. It's going to be there for his July 1st, his birthday, all of July, but he will not go past August 31. And on August 17th, before I went to the UK, I drove about 12-15 hours looking for medications. There were some medications he was taking. And so I drove collecting them and everything. Then I sent it to a friend in London to send it back to him. When my father got it, I got 3 months. You know how we are now. You go, you find more mass, 3 to 6 months or 9 months so that you can save some money. So I sent it to my dad. My cousin said my dad got it. And I said, hey, my daughter, she wants to save money. So she has gotten me multi-month when I told her I have 1 month. That's what he said. He said she has gotten me multi-month of medicine. When I told her I only have 1 month, he said, okay, since she wants to do it like that, it's okay. But he was kind of joking that me, because of saving money, I was not listening. So anyway, on the 18th of August, or 17th of August, we had at this point gotten a doctor to go visit him from time to time so that he doesn't have to walk around, go up and down by himself. We're trying to make his life a little easier because we're so independent and all that kind of stuff. They said the doctor, 2 days before, he was talking to my cousin and he was telling my cousin that he doesn't want to be taking medicines, he's tired, all that kind of stuff. And my cousin said, well, tell God to heal all the things that are in you. So he called out to the Lord 3 times and said, Jesus, heal me or take me. Jesus, heal me. Jesus, heal me. After that, he stopped talking. He didn't say anything again. Then the doctor came, he was lying down, and the doctor was checking him out, closed his eyes, and he passed away on the 17th of August. And you know what was really interesting about that is that he did put his house in order. My brother went, he handed off everything. He stopped taking money. He had some tenants that he used to get rent from. He stopped taking money. He stopped dealing on all those things. Then the driver that was helping him called me and said, that's your dad? He said he told him so much about God. He preached to him. Then my father has been in lawsuits. You know how in Nigeria, I have 1 10-year lawsuit, you just be continue, because as the elder, all the land was under him. So people were always suing because they wanted stuff that was not theirs. And my dad is very moral, that's why he didn't make enough money. Just by the book, does not collect. All the price people in Nigeria, very honest. That's the problem. So my dad went and apologized to all of them, told all of them he forgave all of them. And he asked them to forgive him. So he really put his house in order. He handed off everything before he died. And, for me, when I remember him, I think of him with a paradox of emotions. One was his complete conviction of who God is and who Christ is, rejecting any practice, anything. He was just because he had become convinced himself, right? And yet he was very steeped in tradition. He had a way of just mixing it. So as an Igwe, he's a titled leader. He rejected the Eze. Eze in our place requires you to do some rituals. I told you my grand things. He rejected the Eze ship, so he would not have to participate in that. So we spent the last months, talking often and really getting to know ourselves. He was such a fan of his grandchildren. Oh my gosh. He loved them. He was so proud of Yamira. He was like his doctor. He was so proud of Okezwe, so proud of Zanita. He and Zanita were like best friends. They would talk for hours because when he's talking to me, I'm listening. When he's talking to Zanita, Zanita is talking. So she would talk and talk. Then he would call me and say, in Igbo, when they say to you Nagonka, that means you sing words. You can talk so much like this. And he loved her. He and Ebube were so close. We used to make tea for Ebube. So, I don't fully know all that transpired in his heart. What I do know is that I remember one day when I walked in and found my mother sitting on his lap. And there's this song he used to sing, and this is for all of you men who are looking for love songs. My darling wife has gone to market all she knows, my favorite dish. Chicken is always, always. Chicken is bum bum. Chicken is bum 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 bum. You can cook it, fry it, put it in pepper. Chicken is always, always. So, he sang a lot, he whistled a lot. He certainly was not a perfect man. He was understood, he was also misunderstood. And, I could go on and on, but, all I just want to say is to God be the glory. To God be the glory. I had a father who, invokes in me a paradox of emotions. But one thing I'm sure of is that he loved God and he loved his family, and that he was a faithful man. He was very morally grounded. And when I think of him that way, I just pray that I would also be somebody who has a strong moral foundation, that I would love God sincerely. And I know that I'm sure in my family, in my children, I also already invoke a paradox of emotions. Thank you so much.
livelihood that he exemplified throughout his very full life. And so I'm standing here today to represent my three amazing siblings, Yamira Bell, Zavita Bell, and Igbe Bell, as well as my cousins, Daniel Ngozi Malabikwe, Chinamere Ngozi Malabikwe, Ayo Ngozi Malabikwe, and Zion Ngozi Malabikwe. And so we are gathered here to honor the life of a very special man who was near and dear to my family, Honorable Igwe Edmund Eber Chukwu Obikwe, who we affectionately called Mpachi or Papachi. So our father, our grandfather. And so he was a brother, a father, a grandfather, a counselor, a kinsman, an elder, a chief, a friend. And those are words that describe and can only encapsulate to a certain and finite extent the person that he is and the roles that he bore while he was on this earth. He was a man of unending wisdom with an infectious laugh. That was our Papachi. God was his foundation, and his prayers have kept our family. They kept us strong, they kept us powerful, they kept us intelligent, they kept us going. And I thank God for his life. I'm so blessed to have known my grandfather, and my only regret is not being able to spend more of my life, more of my time with him and learning from him. He was agile, opinionated for sure, loving, and a pillar in our community and our family. And he was one of the most admirable men to walk this planet. He carried himself with dignity, humility, confidence, and courage. Through his wisdom, we learn to cultivate a spirit of excellence and perseverance, which we embody in our lives. Through his wisdom, through his kindness, we learn to empathize with many and how to listen to all. Through his intelligence and commitment to his children and grandchildren, he provided us with a powerful framework with which we hope to emulate in our own lives. Mpachi was a true example of what a stellar grandfather is and what a stellar person can be. We can only hope that our legacies will hold as strong as his, and his legacy lives on through us. His legacy is timeless. His name continues to carry meaning. The chronicles of his life, a testament of God's mercy, goodness, favor, and grace. A man that God gave vision, insight, strength, resilience, wisdom, and understanding to. A man that was blessed to travel the states, London, France, Finland, Ghana, and Nigeria, on the account of his children and grandchildren. He was a man of faith, led by principles, full of purpose, and held by prayer. Papachi, you can hear us. Today, we celebrate your life. We recognize your impact. We remember your legacy. And we rejoice in spirit as you have been united with your bride forever. Thank you for everything you've done in our life, and we hope that you continue to live through us.
The things that he always said, but to be able to observe him and to see how he was living his life, to see how he dealt with situations, to, in some sense, just to get to know and see not only Igwe chief, but just again, an Igbo man, you know, from going into the village and seeing him in action and just seeing everything. Thank you all, my family and friends, Pastor Maribel, Pastor Randy, thank you all for blessing us here with this facility. Thank you all, my family and friends there, my little ones there in the QC. You all don't believe me, huh? I'm telling you, QC, don't take these ladies for granted. They always show up. I didn't even go to KC. I didn't even school in Nigeria, but I know QC always shows up, all right? So this is, take it as the vote of thanks. May the Lord bless each and every one of us as we get ready to travel home. May we have journey mercies, especially those who are traveling back to their home states. The Lord will take you all well. So thank you all for coming. And I believe this is it. All right, thank you all.